Okay, so it's officially November. There's 2 months left in 2025. Now, I want to ask you an honest and brutal, super brutal question. You probably have a list of habits that you've been wanting to build or break. Maybe it's to stop vaping, stop eating junk food. Maybe you're addicted to watching Labubu unboxings. You might be at the same place that you were in January. If that's true, this video is for you. I'm going to show you how in the next 2 months you can completely transform yourself. So you don't have to rely on like New Year's resolutions that never work, and you can walk into 2026 as a completely different person. I'm not going to give you platitudes. I'm going to give you the step-by-step strategy to do this using the 3x3 habit system. So step 1, we need clarity. So define the habits that you want to build or break. Get a piece of paper or go into your notes app and write down build. Sleep, go to bed at 11 p.m. every night. Wake up at 7 every morning. Walk 10,000 steps per day. Go to the gym 4 times per week, right? So this is build, and then break. Stop vaping. Stop scrolling late at night. I'm actually really curious to see where you guys are at. So put your list of your build and breaks down below in the comments. And if you see other people that struggle with those habits, give them motivation. Now, number 2 is to pick 3 out of those habits. I'm not going to come at you guys and tell you guys, okay, we can build all of these habits at once. You're not going to be able to. So we're just going to pick 3 that you want to focus on and you want to build or break before 2026. Number 3 is you want to break them down into their minimum viable habits. So this is a concept created by James Clear. He's the author of the book, Atomic Habits. Basically, you need to understand that when you're building a habit, you first need to build the habit of actually showing up to do the habit, and then you can focus on actually increasing the amount of that habit that you're doing. So for example, if one of your habits is to run 5 miles every single day, you don't want to start with running 5 miles every day. You don't even want to start with running 1 mile every single day. You'd want to start with literally putting on your shoes to go run every day. If your goal is to journal for 15 minutes every single night, then you start with only journaling 1 line every single night. And you know it's a minimum viable habit when it sounds like it's so stupid, like it's not going to make a difference. You need to build the habit of showing up first, because the hardest part of doing a habit isn't actually doing the habit. Like for example, doing your homework. Doing your homework isn't actually that hard, because once you get into the flow, you just do it, right? What's hard is stopping from being on the couch and scrolling to then going to your desk and opening up, your computer and starting to do the work. That's the hardest part, the transition. So getting in the habit of doing the minimum viable habit is getting in the habit of doing the transition. And then you can gradually build from there. So write down the minimum viable habit of the 3 habits that you want to build. Step 4 is to create a daily review template. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually do this in Notion, because that's where I have my daily review template. So in Notion, what we're able to do is we're able to create a really cool form, and you can do the same thing in like Google Forms. Both are free, but basically you want to create a form that you fill out every single night, and there's a couple questions that you want to ask. So the first question is, did you do the minimum viable habit? So for example, let's say I'm trying to build a running habit. The minimum viable habit might be like putting on your running shoes and starting Strava, which is just an app to track your runs. Again, it's like so simple, it doesn't even seem like it really even be a habit. That's how you know it's a great minimum viable habit. But I just put the question like, did I do this? It's either a yes or a no. The next one is really important. If not, what's trigger/distraction? And in Notion, what you're able to do is you're able to add a question, and you can choose if you want it to be a text. So basically it's like a text response, or multiple choice where it's like a yes or a no. And so for this is one I have to actually write out. And so if I didn't do it, I'm figuring out like, why did I do it? What triggered me, or what distraction did I face that made me not do it? And this is really important, because then at the end of every single week, you're able to do a weekly review, and you're actually able to see, okay, Monday and Wednesday, I did do the habit, and it's the same distraction. This is a distraction that's stopping me from building this habit, and I constantly fall victim to. One of the best ways to change your behavior is to be aware of why you're actually doing the wrong thing. And once we understand what this distraction is and what this trigger is, we can add friction to make sure it doesn't happen again in the future. Friction is just making it harder for you to do this distraction. So for example, let's say that your goal was to build this running habit, and you want to be running at 6 p.m. every single day. Well, basically, if the distraction is at 6, I start scrolling on Instagram, and I just get into this state of scrolling, and I don't want to stop scrolling. What you can do is you can add friction and make it harder to do that. So you can use an app like Opal, which is free, and you can make it so it doesn't allow you to go on Instagram from 6 to 7. And so you can always delete Opal, right? You can always delete it, but friction is just making it harder to do that distraction. So now we have to go and delete the app. It just added an extra step to make it harder to engage in that distraction. So now we have the 3 habits, and we have the minimum viable habits. The next step is that we need to specify a specific time and place that we want to be doing these habits every single day. A lot of people will try to build habits, but they don't know when they're doing it. So like they want to build a journaling habit, but they're just like, I'm just going to journal like whenever. It's a lot easier when you know, okay, I'm going to journal at 8 a.m. every single morning. I'm going to journal right before I eat. It basically is giving you clarity for when you're supposed to do the habit. Because if you just say, I'm going to do it whenever during the day, then you're never going to know when you're going to do it, and then it's a lot easier to just not do it. So specify when and where you're going to be doing the habit. So a daily review is really simple. You just asking, did I do the habit? If not, why not? And at the end of the week, you could see if you didn't do the habit, what are your most common distractions and triggers, and then just at the end of every week, add friction to those distractions. And an easy way to add friction, if you don't know how, is literally just ask ChatGPT, this is the habit I'm trying to build. I found that this is a distraction that I commonly face. What are some easy ways that I can add friction to make it harder to engage in this distraction? Now, filling out a daily review is a habit within itself. So you want to make sure that you're doing it at the same time every single night, right? So like maybe right before you go to bed, and you can download the Notion app on your phone so you can easily do it. And set a reminder or like an alarm on your phone so you remember to do it, and just gradually increase each habit over time. So again, for example, let's say your goal is to develop a journaling habit. Week 1, it's just 1 line. Week 2, it's for 3 minutes. Week 3, it's for 5 minutes. Week 4, it's for 7 minutes. 2 months left, you got this.